What would your advice be to an agent right now that's watching you? Maybe it's a brand new agent. Maybe it's an agent like you that's was already doing well. What would your advice be about how their business should change and what they could do right now to really see the best impact if they were consistent with it?
Well, so we haven't, I mean, the biggest thing I do in my business, I started to say it before when I was talking about hard work, but
so I have Alisha Collins, and she is a beast. I'm just going to say that. She works like no one I've ever seen, tons of experience, but I'm going to let Alisha tell you a little bit about what she's doing right now in real estate, what's working the best for her. So Alisha, tell us like how long you've been, your name of your company, how long you've been in the business, where you started, and where you're at now.
yes, I'm Alisha. I live in Casper, Wyoming. There's about 65,000 people here. So not a highly populated area, kind of in the center of Wyoming. I met Krista about 5 years ago. I've been in real estate almost 20 years. I started as a licensed assistant, and because that agent was, I don't know, probably like my mom's age, and she wanted that 26-year-old group that she didn't have. And it took me about 7 years to outsell her. We became partners, and she wanted to work less anyway. And so that's kind of how it started. We added a few people as team members, and then she retired. And so I took over the team. And I remember that the more that she aged, the less work that she did like online. And she became very technically, challenged. And I didn't want that to be me. And I remember you coming across my Facebook page, and I like instantly knew that like you were one of my people, which turns out you are. But I knew it when I saw that video on Facebook, and I scheduled an appointment like without even thinking about it. I talked to somebody for a few minutes, and I thought about it over the weekend, and I was in. I didn't like second guess my decision. I just did it. Well, maybe one time. I remember when I did my first ad, I was like, what am I doing? So I had no buyer's remorse about this because it was so good for me, like the mindset stuff and everything. But when I had to do something that was outside of my box, I had to, I had to learn a new skill. So I remember sitting on my recliner early in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning with coffee, trying to figure out how to place an ad. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I have enough stress in my life. Why would I add something else to it? And so come to find out now, I can have a discussion with Krista. I can be thinking about something else and place the ad. It's like a piece of cake. I seriously can do it in 2 or 3 minutes. So anyway, but what it taught me, and I had gone through this before, but what it taught me is that I can do hard things. And now I don't even consider that hard. So that kept happening, right? Because I think everybody thinks that there's like this magic pill. And guess what? There's not. It's called hard work. It's doing something over and over until you're the best at it that you can be. And then you either pass it to somebody else to do, or you keep doing it and you add something else. It's kind of depends where you are in your career. I'm somewhere in my career that I can pass some of the stuff off, and I probably need to pass more off, but
we have that discussion quite a lot. Okay, so when Alisha came, she was already a top producer. She had sold 102 homes when she first came. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution from that and what's different? Like, what are you doing different in your business, and what's working right now? Because people really want to know what's working right now.
So I still do the things I did before to get where I was then. So I still show houses a lot, pick up the phone and call people. I do like the hustle stuff. And I know hustle is the wrong word, but I like the word hustle, so I use it. We hustle here. My whole team hustles. So I started to do video like 6 months before you came across my screen, but I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I was putting it together. It wasn't that good. You could probably show some of mine that were just horrid and that I look now. But you know what? Somebody saw those and was like, oh my gosh, this girl is putting herself out there. I should call her. And so what happened is as soon as I met you, I knew how to like put that on steroids because you taught me how to make those Facebook ads really perform and distribute them to the right person. So very quickly, I started getting business. Now I do think, that was 5 years ago. So there's more people doing it. There's more noise. There's more content. So I think it takes a little bit longer, but you always hear me say time passes anyway. You might as well start. And I think that people say, oh, I'm going to start tomorrow. So I think that that's one of my like really, really great things is I don't do that. I start right now. But
do it now. Do it now. Like we always say, right? Like,
yeah, do it now.
That's
Yeah.
what my thing says.
Yes.
Do it now. That's one of our. You
oh
guys
my
know.
gosh, I love that.
Yeah, do you love it?
Yeah.
So it's my
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
my word focus. So yeah, that's that. You haven't seen that yet, huh?
Yep.
Alicia and I've actually became.
No.
So Alicia started as a baller agent. She was doing 102 transactions a year. She had a smaller team then. She still has a small team. But how many transactions did you do last year? Now, I would say that last year, what most agents would say, last year was considered a hard year with the pandemic, but even more so like the interest rates going crazy. Like a lot of people stopped. Real estate seemed to kind of stop. What was your year like last year, and how much of that came directly from you?
I think last year, I think up until about, because we always lag everyone else. So up until about October, we were pretty busy. In fact, maybe August kind of slowed down. But in fact, last year in October, November, it was those best months I had ever had in my career. And it was because we kept doing the things that got us where we needed to go. So we ended the year selling 257. I wouldn't have said I did as many as I did last year. If you asked me, I would have probably said like 165, when in fact I sold 197 of those myself. My team did the rest. And we have really lofty goals for this year, of course.
197 homes yourself. That is insane. That's so good. Wow.
Now I have a transaction coordinator and I have another gal that helps her. So, I mean, I'm not doing a lot of ordering the inspections and things like that. I mean, somebody else is doing that and I don't go to them.
Yeah, you're so good with your community. Like if I looked at what what would you say has been what's the biggest impact that you're doing right now that you helped you get through when the market was, people were not working and the market got so crazy, but you were still busy? What would you say, what would your advice be to an agent right now that's watching you? Maybe it's a brand new agent. Maybe it's an agent like you that's already doing well. What would your advice be about how their business should change and what they could do right now to really see the best impact if they were consistent with it?
Well, so the biggest thing I do in my business, I started to say it before when I was talking about hard work, but video is the biggest piece. Like you have to show up consistently. And the other day, somebody said to me in one of your coaching calls, I'm not like Alisha. I'm not a natural at video like her. And I was like, wait, back it up a little bit, because the thing is that I wasn't good at the beginning, like I said before. And so I did last year, I made like, I don't know, 1,122 or something TikToks in a year. So am I going to be better than the person who did two? Absolutely. So I just made a consistent time that I was going to make videos. And when I feel really good, like today, I feel really good. Right. Then I am going to make more of the videos.
Tell the story, Alisha, about how when you used to dress up in your outfit and then you changed and you became yourself and you changed your client avatar, and talk about that. Because I think it's really important for people to hear that.
It's probably got to be like 9 or 10 years ago. And I wish I knew how much I was selling at that point. I don't remember, but I do know my income went up. So I was at a health conference in Phoenix and I got meningitis and I was put in the hospital for about 4 days. Thank God my aunt ran the hospital, because otherwise I would have been scared to death. I was scared to death anyways. But so as I was laying there thinking maybe I would die, I told my husband, like, I hate dressing up. We don't eat around the kitchen table. Like I told him like 5 different things that like we need to do in our life. And the number one was that I hated dressing up. So I came back, I bought a really nice pair of boots and a couple of, good looking jeans. And this is what I wear. I mean, sometimes I dress up a little bit more than this in my shirts, but nobody cares. And I do think I have kind of a big personality anyway that like slams people when I meet them. So I think dress down makes them relate to me a little more. And it doubled my business in a year. That's why I wish I knew, but the data's gone.
Exactly.
So, anyway.
And what's the average? So that's amazing. So she became herself, right? Alisha became Alisha, right? So be yourself. That's one thing. What's the average price point in your area? And share everyone your beautiful award. Like she made over $1 million a commission last year. That's her $1 million earner. Sears is $1 million earner. She made over $1 million GCI in a very small town with 65,000 people, that's amazing. You did so well. And what's your average price point?
The average price point in Casper is about $313, and ours probably is a little more than that. It's definitely gone up. I mean, the price point's gone up anyway because of the appreciation, but our price point has gone up as well. We sell quite a few foreclosures, and so because of that, of course, we didn't a couple years ago, but now we're starting to again, and not a lot, just a little. And so that kind of, some of those bring the price down, and some of them bring it up. So
yeah, okay,
yeah.
So video content, you're saying people should be doing video right now. Make sure they properly distribute it, because remember, if you do video when no one sees it, it doesn't really help you. The goal is like people are seeing you over and over and over again. Talk about that. So like when somebody meets you or when you're around town, can you talk a little bit about how being a digital marketer and really marketing yourself different, how that's impacted your business and why it's so important that agents develop that marketing mindset?
Well, I want to touch on one thing that happened in COVID. And I remember when everybody came on the call, your coaching call, and they were scared. And I remember I was kind of scared too. And I remember you like saying, okay, you guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to work. We're going to start doing videos of businesses. And so we got on Zoom or whatever people used, StreamYard, and we started talking to businesses. And that like lifted people up. And I started like getting more and more people that would, that would come on those lives. And so I think that part of it is helping your community, and part of it is sharing what you have to give. And one of the things that keeps me consistent is I tell myself, like, what if I have something to tell somebody that even if they're not my client, they're like especially like with TikTok and Reels and all the things. Now more people are seeing us, but what if they live in another town and I just saved them $40,000 because I had a story that one of my clients went through that I prevented something from happening, or I didn't see it coming and we fixed it. Like those are the stories that people need to know. And what if you don't make that content that you should make? You're preventing somebody from, helping somebody. And so that's what keeps me like going. And I think that's why I made all the TikToks last year, because one of the things that Krista taught me is that to repurpose it everywhere. Doing that, I'm even making more people see my videos because by making one, right? Because I'm putting them on stories and in Reels and TikTok and Shorts and LinkedIn, all the things. So then people start saying, oh my gosh, I see you everywhere. Every time I open Facebook, there you are. That's the piece that like takes your business to the next level.
Yeah,
but it's consistency and it's time.
Yeah, it was absolutely consistency and time. So people always want to know, like, when you first started paying for ads, because you have to run the ads and do it the correct way. When you first started paying for ads, how much were you spending on ads when you first started? Because people are worried you have to spend so much money. How much are you spending? What are you spending now? And I know that you also aren't spending as much on Zillow, correct? You've kind of changed that too. So kind of talk about that so people understand. It's not like you have to spend $1 million right away.
So when I started, it was $350 usually about a month. Now my threshold is $2,000. So I know that I'm going to get more business if I spend $2,000. Now, if I go under that, then it all kind of slows down. I don't know why. Now, it might not be that for everyone that's watching. I mean, it may be less, it might be more. So that is something that I'm always kind of tweaking, but it's usually around that. I was spending about $7,500 on Zillow. I have it down to about 4,000 right now.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that 4,000 a month.
That's great. You're saving some money there. All right. So if somebody's nervous about like technology, maybe they're a little bit older, maybe they're not good with technology. What would you say about that? And is there like resources or help if they're feeling like that?
Well, think about all the places you can go to figure out how to do something. But an agent sent me a referral the other day, and she said, oh my gosh, I looked you up and I can't believe everywhere you are. And I said, well, you could do it too. And so we were like texting back and forth, and she says, well, I'm old. And okay, well, how old are you? She's like 47. I said, well, I'm 46. That's a horrible excuse. I didn't know her that well. And she sent me a referral, and I still said that. I was like, that's a bad excuse. Like, you have to start to be good. You can't just expect to like wake up one day. And I think that's what people do. I think they just think that they're going to find the next magic pill again, right? Nothing's magic pill. Everything takes work. I mean, don't you think people do that a lot, Krista? They're like chasing the shiny penny instead of like just buckling down.
Yes, and people even right now on this, they always ask, what's the one thing I should be doing? And it's like, you always say what you just said, like there's not one thing, it's all the little things combined. Okay, so right now we're going to wrap this up because I want to be respectful of your time. But what would you say that is the one thing that they should be doing right now with this market, with what's going on? What would your advice be that, any agent could do right now to make the biggest impact that you've seen in your business?
Okay, there's two things.
Okay.
And I used to not say the first one. Mindset.
Okay.
You always say the market is between your ears. And I think that, my whole team is struggling with mindset. It's not like, because we're selling a few more houses right now, or less houses, not a lot less, and we're chasing a lot. And so it's a little harder to chase it, right? But we have to learn. I mean, when I started, you had to chase it. Still have to chase it now. I mean, we just have to do the business. And so if we can somehow ground ourselves and talk to ourselves a little nicer and talk about the market. And now I'm going to go into the video piece because people feel the same way you do. Now I'm not telling you to go be negative on video. I don't want you to do that. But talk about the previous stories in your life that got you where you are today. Talk about storytelling is the thing. Now, you think of the stories and you just start talking about them. And what's going to happen is you're going to see that it's easier to like capitulate that story the more you do it. And I think storytelling is just like hot right now. Yes. So share things that happen and share positive things. I posted my first one today that I'm talking about, being positive. And I think that goes a long way.
I love it. Okay, everyone. So again, Alisha, where you're from, name of your company, and then I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem. Alisha Collins from Casper, Wyoming, and I am with eXp Realty.
Awesome. Okay, we love you. You're amazing. And by the way, just to let you know, Alisha,
thank you.
She's such a go-giver. Every week we have 2 live calls a week, and Alisha gets on 30 minutes before the call and just helps people, answers questions, helps them, gives her advice, gives her feedback, and it's just such collaboration. So thank you for doing that. You're so awesome.
No problem.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey there, I have a brand new podcast called Fired Up with Krista Mashore, where I bring my high energy right to your ears. This podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms. So do me a favor, go subscribe and leave a review. All this information is free and I cannot wait to teach you everything I know. Thanks so much for watching my video. You can learn more about how to be a successful real estate professional by watching other videos that I have. And be sure to subscribe to my channel. And as always, make it a great home selling and buying day.